And another very, very powerful way that you can create and train the visual part of your brain, of course, is utilizing a vision board. Utilizing what?
Vision board!
Thank you. A vision board helps you to follow what we call the ABCs of success. What are they called?
ABCs of success.
Thank you. Your A stands for where you're currently at. For example, let's use money. In this case, a person who is currently making $5,000 a month, what's their A? That's where they're currently at, yes or yes? Their B is where they hope to be within 6 to 12 months. How long?
6 to 12 months.
How long?
6 to 12 months.
Thank you. This is not their long-term goal. This is their next step. Does that make sense?
Yes.
A person currently making $5,000 per month, what might be their next step?
10,000.
Could be 10,000, could be 6,000, 7,500, whatever it is. That's their next step. Your B goals are what you put on your vision board. Your what?
Vision board.
Thank you. Then there's the C. And the C stands for where you see yourself ending up. This is your bucket list type goals. This is your lifetime goals. And so if a person is currently making $5,000 a month, their B is, let's say, $10,000 a month, what might be their C?
$1 million.
Could be $1 million, could be $1 million a month, could be $1 million a week. Are there people that make that kind of money?
Yes.
Absolutely. There are people that make $1 million an hour. Very much so, and they do it in their sleep. Did you know that? Yeah, there are people that make billions and billions of dollars every single year, and they make well over $1 million per hour. Can you say cha-ching?
Cha-ching!
The problem that a lot of people face is they put C-level goals on their vision board, and they wonder why nothing comes off. They create this vision board, and they have these ginormous goals on there. They put multi-billionaire where they've never made more than minimum wage. And they hear these gurus talking about how to use a vision board. So they put a vision board on the wall, and they look at it for 2 days, and they go, wait a second, I've had it up for 2 days. Why am I not a multi-billionaire? What they don't realize is they put their C goals on their vision board. Now, is there a tool for C goals?
Yes.
Yes. That's the difference between a vision board and a dream board. What is it?
Dream board.
Thank you. Your vision board, again, is for 6 to 12 month maximum. Can it be shorter than that?
Yes.
Yeah, can you put a goal on there that you're going to achieve in 6 to 12 minutes?
Yes.
Absolutely, because you're creating evidence. You're creating what?
Evidence.
Thank you. You're creating evidence that you are a creator and that your brain is capable of creating more. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Again, that's your vision board. Your dream board is for your bucket list items, your C goals. What you want to do is put your dream board next to your vision board. Your vision board goes on the left, your dream board goes on the
Right.
Because what happens is your brain then sees it in sequential order. Does that make sense so far?
Yes.
Your brain sees the dream board stuff, and that says, oh, this is what we ultimately want. What's the next step? What's the stepping stone to getting there? Your brain then sees the vision board and goes, sound effects? That's what we need to do! That's all it is! Now, for someone who's never made more than $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month might seem like this huge step, unless they have a dream board on the wall as well. And if they look at their dream board first, which says multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire, whatever it is, suddenly their vision board goal seems a lot more attainable, achievable, yes or yes?
Yes.
Again, your dream board gives you the why. The what?
Why?
This gives you perspective. Why are we working on this next level goal? Well, the vision board gives you the what. This gives you the what. Your dream board gives you the why. This is why you want to achieve it. This is what you need to do next. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Tell the person next to you, this makes sense. Thank you. Heather, do we have that pulled up? Can I show you some of the things that I've gotten off my vision board? I started using a vision board a number of years ago. And it actually started before I was officially trained to use a vision board. I mentioned yesterday the story of really wanting to take Heather on a 7-day cruise to the Mexican Riviera. How many of you remember that story? One of the things I didn't mention yesterday is I had decided to create a mini vision board on a secret file in our laptop. She knows exactly what it's called. She knows exactly what goes in there, but one of the things I love about her is she doesn't like to spoil surprises. And so I told her, hey, by the way, there is a file in the computer named Possibilities, and that's where I keep all of my plans for our future special occasions, so please don't look at it. She goes, okay, and she won't look at it. And so while I was planning this birthday celebration for her, I created this mini vision board, including the very first image was a picture of the actual cruise ship that we wanted to board. I put this in this little collage, and every single day on my way to work, I was still waiting tables at the time, I would listen to a song, which put me in that emotional state and made me buzz so that I felt like it was already attainable. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And every single day, every time I did this, things started to change. I would get an extra tip from a certain table that I could stash away. I would pick up an extra shift there, an extra shift there, get a little extra money this way, a little extra money that way. And pretty soon, the day came when I was able to surprise her and we were able to board that ship. Go ahead! One of the tools to enhancing a vision board is using what we call a vision board success album. What's it called?
Vision board success album.
And so you may want to turn to page 16. What page?
16.
Thank you, because there are a number of tools or tips for getting the most out of a vision board. Tool number 1 is create a vision board success album. And you want to make this public. What's the word?
Public.
Thank you. You want to actually put it on your social media page for other people to see. Oh, but Eric, that's like bragging. I mean, people are going to notice that I'm actually like being successful. First and foremost, a brag is only a brag when you compare yourself to someone else and put the other person down. That is the definition of bragging. There is nothing wrong with celebrating your successes with other people. Does that make sense?
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with using positive affirmations in a public way. This does a number of things. Number 1, it helps other people to leverage and support you. Yes or yes?
Yes.
It also helps to inspire others. Yes or yes?
Yes.
In fact, I remember years later, I've been using this vision board for a couple of years, and my wife and I actually ended up going back to the restaurant where I had worked in St. George, where we were first married, where we lived when we were first married. And one of my former coworkers who still worked there came up to me as we were eating, and he said, "Oh, dude, I never told you. I watched what you've been doing with a vision board on your Facebook, and I thought it was the coolest thing. And so I created a vision board on my wall, kind of like yours, and I used it to quit smoking." I went, "What?" I said, "Oh my gosh, you mean just posting this stuff on Facebook just added years, possibly decades to a person's life?" I said, "Dude, you just made my century." I'm like, "Holy smokes, that's the coolest thing." You never know who could be watching. That sounds funny. No pun intended, you get the idea. But I was like, "Oh my goodness, that's the coolest thing. Isn't that cool?" And so tell the person next to you, you have no idea who's going to be watching. It was the coolest thing. And most importantly, it gives your brain double evidence. Gives you what?
Double evidence.
Thank you, because what you do is every time you accomplish one of your vision board goals, you take a picture of the actual image or statement, and you upload it to your album, saying vision board image, whatever it is. You then take a picture of you accomplishing it. Doing what?
Accomplishing it.
And you upload it saying accomplish and then the date. What happens is you then go back and you look through that, and it gives your brain that double evidence. It says, "Brain, take a look. here's something that we wanted, and here's us creating it. And what happens is a snowball effect. What effect?
Snowball.
Because you can begin with smaller goals, and your brain then begins to build up more and more evidence and more confidence. So that when you start going after the crazy huge stuff, and your brain starts going, wait a second, that's too big, that's way too far out there, you can go, take a look at this. You see this, brain? Look at all this evidence, look at all this cool stuff that we created. Your brain goes, oh. Okay, we can do that. Cool or cool?
Cool.
Can I show you some other stuff? So, like I mentioned, we wanted to do all like the parasailing. We became someone's personal kites. Like we wanted to go like scuba dive. That's us smooching 300 feet in the air. And that's us holding hands like 40 feet under the water. It's the coolest thing. I wanted to take her on the chef's table, get her a massage. So then we started using a vision board for a lot of other things. Go ahead and click on, yeah. Anybody recognize that picture? It's actually a very high-end restaurant here in Sandy, Utah called Le Cai. It's a very fine dining French restaurant, and at the time, a dinner for two, a full dinner for two, not including alcohol, thank goodness we don't drink, was about $180, which at that time was like the entire amount that we spent on food in an entire month for each other. Does that make sense? Well, this was about 6 months after that special cruise, and I felt like I really wanted to do something extra special for what we call our half anniversary. Since we were married right before Christmas, our first year of marriage, we started a tradition called Summer Surprises. And so every summer, to kind of celebrate our half anniversary, I surprise her with a number of things. And it's just a really fun tradition. Well, this particular year, I really wanted to take her to Le Cai. We'd never been there before, and I had heard really cool things about it. And I'm like, holy smokes, $180 for a single dinner. How am I supposed to do that? Well, my general manager at that time announced a contest among the servers at our restaurant. How many of you have ever been to a restaurant where they, at the end of your meal, or maybe a grocery store, they give you the receipt and they say, if you go on this website, fill out the survey, let us know how we did. Who knows what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Well, our GM really wanted to get as much feedback as possible. And so we said, we're gonna hold a contest. And any server who over the next 6 weeks gets at least 25 responses, they could have been good, bad, indifferent, just 25 responses, will get a special prize. And I thought, I like special prizes. My mommy told me I was special. So why not get a prize for being special? That sounds great. And so every person that I served, as long as I didn't like royally screw something up, right? I would say, at the end of their meal, I would say, thank you so very much for coming in. Do you happen to have a smartphone with you? And most people said,
Yes.
yes. And I said, if you don't mind taking just 60 seconds, if you go on this website on your phone before you leave and leave us a review, it's gonna be really, really helpful. And you have a chance to win $1,000. And so most people said, oh yeah, no problem. And so within a couple of weeks, my GM came up to me and he said, Eric, I promised you a special prize. You got 25 responses. And he handed me a $180 gift card to Le Cai. And I went, get out of here. And so, a week later, we had this amazing, amazing dinner at Le Cai. Big woohoo! Go ahead and close out. Go ahead and go down. Well, pretty soon, keep going. Oh, go back. Yeah. Pretty soon, I was pretty tired of the restaurant industry. Anybody here work in the restaurant industry?
Yes.
How many of you would agree that it's not exactly something you want to do for forever? Yes? Well, I was pretty much ready to be done. I'd been certified in BEST, and I was ready to start my own practice and start my own business. I really wanted to do that full time and get paid for it. And at the time, we were living in this tiny home in Provo, and I had tried just opening up my living room one day a week just to come. I would invite people to come in, but I couldn't get anybody to pay me for it. And I'm like, why is nobody willing to pay me for this? Like, they're willing to go pay a chiropractor, they're willing to go pay a massage therapist, but no one wanted to pay me. And I finally realized that it was because I didn't seem professional. I didn't have a professional space to practice. Does that make sense? When you go to like a chiropractic office, it's kind of expected that that chiropractor is going to get compensated, yes or yes? And so I realized I needed a professional space in which to practice. I went online and I Googled something like professional space to practice. I mean, it's something crazy like that. And this was the image that really stuck out to me. I put it on the wall and I looked at it every single day. Now, pay attention to the details here. Pay attention to the position of the table, what's behind it, the shelves, the mirror, the plant. every single day, I looked at it and I said, hey brain, pay attention. You see this? I want it. Make it happen. Say it with me. Hey brain.
Hey, brain.
Pay attention.
Pay attention.
See this?
See this?
I want it.
I want it.
Make it happen.
Make it happen.
And sometimes your brain likes to wander a little bit, so sometimes you have to kind of like, pay attention. So, hey brain.
Hey, brain.
Pay attention.
Pay attention.
See this?
See this?
I want it.
I want it.
Make it happen.
Make it happen.
Use the hand motions. Hey brain.
Hey, brain.
See this?
See this?
I want it.
I want it.
Make it happen. Twice as loud. Hey brain.
Hey, brain.
See this?
See this?
I want it. Make it happen.
Make it happen.
And I did this every single day. And within a couple of short months, that ended up being my very first office. Notice the table, the mirror, the plant, the shelves. I had no idea where that was. But within a couple of months, that was my first office. Big one. Next one. Go down, go down. Go down, go down, go down. Ooh! I found out that really close to my birthday, my favorite singer was coming into town to do a concert. And I thought, oh my gosh, that'd be the coolest birthday celebration to actually go. I'd never been to a live concert. I'm like, that'd be the coolest thing. Unfortunately, I wasn't exactly making a lot of money at that time. I was on the verge of going on welfare because this was in the very early days. And I don't know about you, but I'm the type of person that when I go to play like concerts or plays, I can't have those big seats. Like I gotta be like in the spit zone. Does that make sense? Anybody else like that? Maybe not in the actual spit zone, but like I gotta be like up front. And I went online and I found out that 2 floor-side seats to this concert was gonna be about $220. And I thought, oh man. And I was this close to thinking the phrase, I can't, and I went, oh, no! And I literally went, no! And I thought, I wonder what would happen if I put it on the vision board. And so I did. I put it on the vision board, and I laughed, looked at it, and I'm like, hey, brain. See that? This is so ridiculous. There's no way. But I want it. Can you make it happen? Pretty please, brain. And I did this every single day for a number of weeks. And 6 days before the concert, I received a letter in the mail from the company that I had previously worked for. I opened it up and it said, by the way, we were supposed to send this to you on your 1-year anniversary with us. And out fell a check for $228. I said, and so we got second row seats, baby. Big wahoo! Excellent. So then we started using it for some bigger things. And now there are a lot of simple things up there, yes? There's like a new electric hand mixer, there's like a new belt, you know, some really, really simple things. Because again, sometimes you want to start off small to begin to build up that evidence in your mind, yes or yes? Yes. Sometimes when people are like, well, I've never used this before, what do I start? I say, well, you like cookies? They go, well, yeah. I say, put a chocolate chip cookie on there. I feel like, are you serious? I can go buy a chocolate chip cookie. I said, yeah. Put a chocolate chip cookie on there, go and buy one, and then take it off. I feel like that's like cheating. No, it's not. I said, who wrote the vision board manual? Who wrote the vision board rule book? I said, I've never seen one. I don't think they're going to put you in a vision board penalty box if you put a cookie on the wall. Just go do it! Until they do it. So some of the things are quite simple. Cool. But then, as I mentioned, things began to snowball. And we began to get a little more confident. And so we started putting bigger and bigger items on the vision board. Go ahead and, yeah. This was my wife's dream car. For so many years, she always wanted a black Mercedes-Benz. And I wanted to be that husband that could come home one day and say, guess what I bought today? Because that would be brownie points. Brownie points are even better than cookies. And so we put this on the vision board. I had no idea how I was supposed to make it happen. But within a very short period of time, our business began to grow. And the day came when I said, hey babe, guess what? I've got a slightly belated Mother's Day gift for you. And she goes, really? What are we doing? You know, 'cause that's how she talks. And I said, we gotta go pick it up. we gotta go pick it up. She's like, where are we going? I said, here, just trust me, just follow my directions and we'll go. And we got in the car and we went to this dealership. And she's like, what are we doing at a car dealership? I said, well, I think the owner of your gift is supposed to meet us here or something. I said something stupid like that. And I walked her over, I had her close her eyes, and I walked her over and I said, okay, you want to see your Mother's Day gift? She's like, yeah. She opened her eyes. And there was her Mother's Day gift waiting for her. And it was like, so then more and more things started happening. So I mentioned yesterday that while we were still on welfare, I put an image of this really nice, beautiful home on there because I'd always grown up in really tiny places. And in fact, I lived for 2 years in a third world country where you don't exactly have homes like that. Like, they don't exist. Does that make sense? But I always wanted to live in a nice, beautiful 3-story home because I'm like, okay, I want to be really, really comfortable in this home and I want to enjoy it. And so while we were still on welfare, I put that image on the vision board. And I remember just laughing hysterically at it, going, oh my gosh, there's no possible way. That was a moonshot aim for me at the time. But 10 months later, we moved into that home. And that's where we lived until we got the home that we now live in, which is actually even bigger than that one. Cool or cool? Cool. Big one, huh? Let's see, keep going to the Bahamas, trip to Hawaii. Let's see, work out with Mr. Universe. That was really, really cool. Other trips to Disney World. Oh, hold on. So yeah, click on the far right. Yeah. So remember I told you yesterday about the beef that dissolves in your mouth? It's called Wagyu beef. And it comes from Japan. And it's unbelievably yummy. And so for my birthday dinner, I turned 30 at Disney World. It was cool. And so for my 30th birthday dinner, we ordered this Wagyu beef. And I had that image on my vision board. And I went, we got the restaurant, we got the reservations. It's really cool. And so what happened in Florida, there's this restaurant called Victoria and Albert's. It is the only 5-diamond restaurant in that part of Florida. And it's practically impossible to get reservations because there are 2 parts of the restaurant. There's the main dining room, and then there's what's called the Queen Victoria room. And they only seat 4 couples in that room per night. And so it is incredibly difficult to get a reservation, as you can imagine why. Well, I had seen videos on YouTube about the Queen Victoria room, and I'm like, I have to eat there someday. Oh my gosh, my 30th birthday was coming and we had planned this trip to go to Walt Disney World for my 30th birthday. And I called to see if there was anybody that was canceling the reservation or something, and of course nobody had, but I got on the waiting list. They called me the day before we were going to leave saying, Mr. Bailey, we just had a cancellation on such and such a day, would you like it? And I said, they said, hello? I said, yes, we do. And so we booked the reservation. And we got there, we're looking at this 10-course dinner menu. And they said, by the way, one of the courses is a beef course. And so included in your dinner is a Kobe filet mignon. But for a slight upcharge, you can also have a Wagyu filet mignon. And I said, I don't even know what that means, but it sounds yummy, so let's try it. And so the beef course finally came. It was our 7th course of the evening. And they brought this out. And so on the left side is the Kobe filet mignon. And so I took a bite of it and I just said, oh my gosh, this is so incredible. This is like the juiciest, most flavorful beef I'd ever taken. And then I picked up the Wagyu. And I took a bite. And I literally went, because you didn't have to chew it. It just melts in your mouth. And it just dissolved. And I went, oh my word. When the server walked by, he goes, I always love seeing people's first reactions to that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing culinary experience ever. Big one! Let's see. Other experiences at Disney World, other really cool stuff. Cruises. My car. I like my Corvette. Best-selling author, becoming oh, that's my dad chair. I've always wanted a dad chair. Anybody here have a dad chair? I'd always wanted one. I'd always wanted one of those chairs that was just so comfy that like you sit there and it's like your bum is like stuck in it. You're like you sit down and your bum just like melts in. And you sit there and you just kind of, is that what that's? And like when I sit down in my dad chair, it's like, don't ask me for a single thing. I ain't getting up out of this dad chair. And what's funny is I actually do a lot of my work in that dad chair. So I get to relax in it, and I do a lot of like writing my books and things in my dad chair. And so I remember I posted this on my Vision Board YouTube video, and someone was like, a dad chair? That's the dumbest thing. Well, I got the YouTube video, I ended up getting like 105,000 views. And someone's like a dad chair? Why would anybody put a dad chair? And so I commented back, I'm like, I'm sitting in the dad chair right now, and it is glorious. Big whoa! Let's see. Well, pretty soon, this album became completely full. Pretty soon, I had achieved so many things. I've gotten so many things off the Vision Board. Let's see, $1 million, multiple time best-selling author, eating at Krusty Burgers. That was actually on the Vision Board. How many of you are Simpsons fans? Anybody? Okay, 3 of you. Okay, the rest of you. And in this television show, there's a restaurant called Krusty Burgers, which I know sounds disgusting, but they actually have Krusty Burgers at Universal Studios in Florida. I'm like, what the heck? Let's eat a Krusty Burgers. And so we did. Big wahoo! Let's see, I'm getting my YouTube channel up, 1,000 subscribers. Go ahead and click out of this one, and let's click, yeah, oh wait, yeah, this one, perfect. Okay, click on this one over here. Yes. So for the longest time, I'd always wanted to stay in in a penthouse suite in a 5-star hotel. And so we put this image on our Vision Board, and we finally decided to go on an impromptu vacation about a year ago. And we actually had no idea where we wanted to go. We just said, okay, we need a getaway. We booked a babysitter and we just left, not even knowing where we were gonna go. We just got in the car and we just went. And we ended up going to California, spending a day at Disneyland. We went to Sequoia National Park, and then we decided to spend an evening in Las Vegas. And I went on Expedia, and I realized that this penthouse suite was actually available. And so I booked it. We spent the night there, and the next morning was August 1st. We woke up, and I went, oh my gosh, today is the 10-year anniversary since the day that I met you. And it's exactly 5 years to the date after we started our company. And we're waking up in this 5-star penthouse suite. We're millionaires. We've enjoyed all the success. And I looked at her and I said, I'm pretty sure this has happened because I met you. And we got to celebrate in this amazing, amazing penthouse suite in the middle of Las Vegas. Big wahoo! And I got a new smoker. Click on, ooh. Yes! Holy smokes! I'd always wanted to experience a romantic dinner on the beach. Oh my gosh, that's sexy as heck. Oh my goodness, that gives me more rowdy lights. Well, we ended up booking a vacation in Cancun last year. And I didn't know what all included. I just heard this really, really cool things about the #1 rated all-inclusive resort in the entire world. It's called the Iberostar Gran Paraíso. It's right there on the coast of, just outside of Cancun. Well, when I went online to book the vacation, I saw that there were regular rooms available and that there were honeymoon suites, or honeymoon villas available. And I said, I want a honeymoon villa. And it was actually like really, really affordable for everything that came with it. And so not only did you get this amazing, amazing suite, but you got your own private backyard with your own private pool. And so as we got there, the concierge was telling us about some of the other perks that were included. He said, oh, by the way, it includes a couples massage. And we're like, oh my gosh, that's cool. He said it includes a special breakfast. And so one morning we'll actually bring you a romantic breakfast that you can enjoy. And then it also includes a candlelit dinner on the beach. And I said, what? He said, oh yeah, that's included in your honeymoon stay. I said, you're serious? He said, yeah. I said, what night would you like it? I said, well, how about this night? I said, done. And I'll never forget the day they picked us up in at our villa. They drove us over to a special private secluded part of the beach. And he pulled up and I literally started crying. And I took Heather's hand and said, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to do this. And they served us this 5-course dinner right there on the beach. And they had candles, they had soft music playing. And it was one of the coolest experiences of our entire marriages. Big wahoo! Let's see, I got to share the stage with the 2 people that influenced me to get into the public speaking realm, Brad Wilcox and John, by the way. They came and they spoke at our charity event last year. It was the coolest thing. I got to, it was like so fun. It's the coolest thing. Other trips to Walt Disney World, my YouTube channel getting, or a video getting 100,000 views. Keep going. Releasing 50 pounds. Oh, I got one off just last night. I got the Mickey waffles! I made them in the Mickey waffle maker and I opened it up and I put a little powdered sugar on it, I put the strawberries, I put the whipped cream, and I took a bite and I went.
Was there Disney cracker?
I think they built it into the waffle maker. And I started like getting giddy, and everyone else that was staying with me was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm getting way too happy over this Mickey waffle. It's just a Mickey waffle in your face. It's the coolest thing. Big wahoo! And this all comes from primarily using a vision board. Now again, it's not the vision board that does it. There aren't any vision board pixie fairies because, you know, Santa killed them all. It's your brain. It's your what?
Brain.
Your brain is what you train. You train your brain to work for you instead of against you. You train your brain to work for you instead of against you. You train your brain to work for you instead of against you. You train your brain to work for you instead of against you. And you utilize a vision board using a very special process. Would you like to know what it is?
Yes.
Tell the person next to you. Let's learn what it is. There are a number of tools to using a vision board. The first one we've already covered. The first one is you want to create a vision board success album. What, please? Vision board success album. And again, that helps you to create. What is it? Evidence. That you are a creator. Tell the person next to you. You got to build up evidence. As we also mentioned, you also only want to put short-term goals on your vision board. Short-term goals meaning maximum 6 to 12 months. How long, please? 6 to 12 months. Thank you. The next one is you want to have 9 sections. How many, please? 9. Because each one corresponds with a different part of your brain. We, of course, have a right brain and we have a left brain. And the different areas of your vision board will line up with different parts of your brain depending on where you are standing. Does this make sense? Yes. The top left corner is where you put your finances goal. What goal? Finances. And if you want to, you can put a number. If you're like Leslie Householder, then you don't want to put a specific number. You can put something that you're going to use your finances for. Does this make sense? Yes. For example, you could put a house there. Or if you want to, of course, one of the purposes of a vision board is to train to synchronize your right brain and your left brain. And the left brain does really, really well with numbers and data. Yes or yes? Yes. So whenever we've had an income goal, that's where we put it on there. When at first I just wanted to replace my income of $2,000 a month, I put $2,000 collected and deposited in 1 month. After I took that down, I put $3,000, then $5,000, then $10,000, and $20,000, $30,000, $100,000, and so on and so forth. Does that make sense? Again, whatever it is, that's where you put your finances goal. The top middle is where you put your reputation goal. What goal? Reputation. Meaning, how do you want to be seen? And some examples of this could be a new car. Maybe you want people seeing you driving around in a brand new Corvette Stingray convertible, or living in some brand new house, or whatever it is. You get to choose how you want others to see you. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Again, that's for your reputation goal. What goal?
Reputation.
Thank you. The top right is where you put your faith goal. What goal?
Faith.
And so something having to do with spirituality. What could be some goals having to do with spirituality? Shout some things out. Meditate every day for a certain period of time. What else? Go to the temple. Business. Being married. All of those things absolutely pertain. Yes or yes? Again, if you're not a particularly churchy person like I am, you could say spend 20 minutes out in nature meditating every day. Or it could be reading spiritual text. Whatever it is, that's where your faith goal goes. The middle right-hand corner is where you put your love goal. What goal? Love. And what could be some examples of a love goal? Shout some things out. Marriage. Vacation, you actually want to put in a different spot, and I'll tell you in a moment. I guess that they could kind of go together, because if you want to take a vacation with a certain someone, then there could be a little crossover. But what else?
Relationship investment training.
Relationship investment training, absolutely. Date night, what else? What was that?
Self-love.
Self-love, absolutely.
Relationships.
Yeah, all these things, fantastic. The bottom right-hand corner is your fulfillment goal. What goal?
Fulfillment.
And a lot of times people put their travel goals there. What goals? Because for most people, travel gives them a lot of fulfillment. Going on vacation gives them a lot of fulfillment. Does this make sense?
Yes.
What could be some examples? Shout some things out.
Cruise.
Cruise, love it. What else?
Second home.
Second home, what else?
Pilgrimage.
I heard two things at once.
Pilgrimage.
Pilgrimage.
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem, yeah, absolutely. Because again, whatever it is that causes you to feel fulfilled, what's the word?
Fulfilled.
That's where you put that goal. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Grab the arm of the person next to you. Give them a little shake. I'd say this is looking good so far. Excellent. In the very center is where you put your fitness goal. What goal?
Fitness.
What could be some examples of that? Shout some things out. Having a six-pack. Can I share something with you? I finally moved my six-pack abs from the dream board to the vision board. I'm finally there, because there's still a lot to go, but a couple weeks ago, I looked in the mirror, I'm like, that's an ab. One day I'm gonna have 6 of them, but that's one. And I'm like standing, I'm standing in the mirror, I can see the abs. I may or may not be a little more vain than I used to be. What else?
Your size.
Your size, your weight, your
Tone.
inches, your
Tone.
tone, endurance, definition. Absolutely. All these are, yes, absolutely. These are all great fitness goals. Now, the middle left is where you put your family goals. What goals? Family. Family, but wait a second. Isn't that the same as love? There could be some crossover. But what could be some differences? Shout some things out.
Date night with kids.
Date night with kids. What else? Have a baby. What else?
Repairing relationships.
Repair relationships. What else?
Family dinner.
Family dinners. Absolutely. Vacations. For a long time, I put on here 5 date nights with my oldest daughter, 5 father-son outings with my oldest son. And then our younger son got old enough that he could enjoy some, and so I actually got to take it off the vision board. I did 5 daddy-daughter dates and 5 father and son outings. Now my daughter makes it really, really easy, because all the time she'll come up to me and she knows that if she makes a certain face, I can hardly resist it, the little stinker. And so she'll walk up to me and she'll go, Daddy, daddy-daughter date. And I'm like, how could I resist that? I'm like, okay, let me go buy you some jewelry. Leslie, not really, but she loves going on daddy-daughter dates. It's the coolest thing. Anyways, on the bottom middle, is where you put goals regarding your hobby or career. What are they? What are they?
Hobby and career.
And what are some examples of that? Shout some things out.
Surfing.
Surfing, speaking,
Rock
rock
climbing.
climbing, skiing,
Mermaiding.
mermaiding, a job title. All these are great things. This is where I put like my next program that I'm working on. I'll put it in that section. Or if when I needed my electric hand mixer, that's where I put it there because I really enjoy cooking, and like that's the place where put the Mickey waffle iron because it's it's got the Mickey crack in it, so it's delicious. Finally, the bottom left is where you put your education or knowledge goal. Which goal? Education. And what could be some examples of that? Shout some things out. Self-development courses, books, learn German, CDs, audios, courses, absolutely. Because mentorship, because the most successful people in the world are always growing and learning. Yes or yes? That's where you want to put it on your vision board. Now, the next tool is you only want one goal. How many goals? Thank you. One goal per section on your vision board. Your dream board, you can have as many as you want. But your vision board, you only want one goal at a time. And the reason why is any more than that, and your brain gets overwhelmed with the short term. Does this make sense? Your brain can comprehend a lot of long-term things, but in the short term, it can only focus on one thing at a time. Are you with me?
Yes.
A mistake that a lot of people make is they create this vision board and they make like their entire wall this ginormous vision board. And then they wonder why nothing comes off. The reason why, one more time, you only want one item in each section is so that your brain can give you focus. Give you what? Focus. Grab the arm of the person next to you. Give them a shake. Say only one goal per section. Give it a high five and say you're a master creator. The next tool is you want both images and statements. Both what? Images and statements. If you notice, some of those things that I took off were actual images. They were just things that I went on to Google Image and printed off. Some of the other ones were just sticky notes with a couple of words on it. Yes or yes? Yes. Does it have to be fancy? No. Good heavens, no. If you're waiting for like the most perfect fancy vision board, you're going to cheat yourself of a lot of results. The important thing is just get it on the wall. Do what? Get it on the wall. Tell the person next to you, just get it on the wall. Get it on the wall. Now, you want to use both images and statements because, again, images help to stimulate your right brain. Statements stimulate your left brain. And again, you're doing so to get them working together. Now, you want to put it on the wall about eye level. Where? Eye level. Excellent. Now, that's about the middle of the vision board. And so, like, right about here, if I were about this tall, I kind of want to, like, stick my nose, like, right there. And the reason why is if it's too high, it sends a message to the brain, oh, that's too far out of reach. If it's too low, it sends a message to the brain, oh, those goals are below me. Again, you put it about eye level on your wall, close to your bed. Close to what? Bed. Because you want it to be the first and last things you see. You want it to be the last thing you see as you're going into unconsciousness. And the first thing you see as you're coming out of unconsciousness. You want it to go over and over again in your mind as you sleep and throughout the day. Because what's going on is your brain is literally looking for ways to make it happen. Cool or cool? Cool. The next tool is you want to remove your doubts. Do what? Remove your doubts. As you look at your vision board, and you want to look at it every morning and every night. When, please? Every morning and every night. Which means you actually stand in front of your vision board and you look at each individual item or image. The best way to remove doubts is to actually have something in your hand to write things down. To do what?
Write things down.
Because how many of you have ever been focusing on a goal when suddenly your brain like starts rebelling and starts shouting things at you like, you can't do that, that's impossible, you're too stupid, you're too loud. How many of you have ever experienced that before? Say yes.
Yes.
Now, remember what Leslie said yesterday. To achieve the practically unachievable, you must have zero doubts. And the way to do that is to write your doubts out. Do what, please?
Write your doubts out.
Well, wait a second, Aaron. Won't writing them down, won't that just reinforce the negative? Well, only if you're a ding-dong and you go back and you reread them. Tell the person next to you, you don't want to be a ding-dong. But if you're simply writing it down, you're getting it out of and onto. You get it out of and onto. Tell the person next to you, get it out of your brain and onto paper. Because that then frees up space. It is what? So as you're looking at your vision board, as the doubts come, write them down. And every so often you'll go to write one thing down and you'll have like 50 things come like spewing out of you. And you're like, you'll go to write down, this is impossible. You're like, this is impossible. Oh my gosh. Sound effects. That's vulgar, brain. That's yucky. And then you take the paper and you destroy it. What do? Destroy it. And you can do it by tearing it up, you can stomp on it, you can throw it in the trash, or sometimes, it can be really, really gratifying if you have like a gas grill or something and you can do it safely. You take it out to your gas grill, you put it on there, you light it on fire, and you watch it burn. And you go, I'm in charge, Mr. Doubts. Burn, baby, burn. And you go, it's like, it's almost like gratifying in like a pyrotechnic type of way, but it's cool. So again, you want to remove your doubts. Now, once you remove the doubts from your brain, that frees up space to then receive inspiration. When you do, always make sure you write it down. And so you may want to have 2 different notebooks in your hand. One to write out the graph, that was crap and yucky and something else all in one. You want to write out the crap yucky stuff. Tell the person next to you, you want to write out the crap yucky stuff. And you want to write down your ideas. You want to write down your what? Ideas. Because your brain is then going to tell you how to get that off your vision board. Is that cool or cool? Cool. You write those ideas down, and of course you then go and the next tool is to take immediate action. Do what, please? Take immediate action. Excellent. Now, we've given you quite a few tools. In just a moment, we're going to open it up to you to actually create a vision board. How many of you brought poster boards with you? How many of you forgot or just didn't for whatever reason? Okay. Those of you that do not have a poster board, you are going to create a rough draft here in your notebook. And when you get home, you are then going to transfer that onto a vision board. You can either put it directly on the wall, or like using painter's tape or something like that, or you can create an actual vision board and use tape to put it on there. Why do you want to use tape and not glue? Yeah, so you can take it off. Yes or yes? So you can take it off and then replace it. Now, do you have to have all 9 sections filled? No. Just 9 sections maximum. What's the word? Excellent. Excellent. Now, do we have any questions about using a vision board? Where are mic runners? Mic runners. Let's go ahead and stand up. So you first stand up. Tell us your name, where you're from.
Elizabeth. I'm from Fruit Heights, Utah.
Big wahoo! Excellent.
First, I was going to say I brought extra poster board and
Perfect.
magazines in case anybody needs them.
Perfect.
And then second is I have 6 tools. Did I miss 2?
I didn't number them all. I just kind of gave them.
Okay, so they're somewhere within my notes, are the other 2. Okay, great, thank
Yes.
you.
Big wahoo! Another question. Tell us your name, where you're from.
Erica, West Jordan, Utah.
Big wahoo!
Should you be
Hold on, there are people not giving you their full respect. Thank you.
should you be doing a vision board individually, or can you do it with your spouse?
Good question. I recommend you each have your own vision boards because you may not have the same goals. But when you come to Celebration of Freedom, you're then going to create what's called an experience board. that's something you absolutely can, and I highly recommend you do create with your spouse. So in our bedroom, we have dream board, we have vision board, but then in the hallway, we have an experience board. And there's some overlap there, but it's just a bunch of images of a lot of the experiences that we want to have together as a couple.
Because you know my husband and he's significantly taller than me,
Uh-huh.
so the eye level thing was getting.
Yeah. So yeah, individual vision boards. Cool? Big go ahead. Question over here. Tell us your name, where you're from.
Wow, I really didn't see you. Sorry. I am Rachel. I live in Springville, Utah.
Go ahead.
I have a question about gestation period. You said 6 to 12 months. I have experience with vision boards in the past, and I have had some amazing experiences, if anyone wants to ask me about them later. But some of those things took longer than 12 months, and maybe that was, a bigger goal. But at the same time, my focus was different. And how would you deal with something that was on your vision board, did take longer than 12 months? What do you mean by 6 to 12 months?
And so, as I mentioned, you want it to be your next level. And so you constantly want to be working on the next level. And usually, if you're doing your daily action steps, in my experience, it usually takes maximum 6 to 12 months to reach that next level. And so you would put the very next step on there. Now, can you put something on there thinking that it's going to take you 6 to 12 months and then it take longer? Yes. And one or two things. You can do one or two things. You can either leave it on the vision board and simply allow the gestation period to run its course, or if you feel like, no, that's really the next step, you can then, I have what I call my vision board waiting list, and that's a bunch of images and things that were on my vision board that I'm like, no, there's something I need to accomplish before that. So I'll take it off and I'll go, boing, sound effects, I'll stick it right there on the wall in the waiting list, and I'll put the next level there that's going to take me less time. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Let's go here, and then back here. Tell us your name, where you're from.
Maya Lisa from Rexburg.
Go ahead.
What order do you look at them in, or does it matter?
No, it doesn't matter. I mean, my eyes tend to usually go kind of like this, but yeah, it doesn't matter.
And then does this relate to the eye tracking? When you said have somebody watch you and you ask yourself a question, where does it go? Do these match up to the...
Not necessarily, because if you do that eye exercise, you could ask yourself, okay, how am I going to create this? And your brain might go, it might go all different directions, because you may have different answers in different parts of your brain.
Okay.
But we have a left brain, which of course is more data and facts. This very much and this very much have to do with the left side of your brain. The right side of your brain is more visual, it's more experiential, and so notice these are a lot more right-brained. These are kind of in the middle.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
That answer your question?
Did it?
Then go ahead! One more. Tell us your name, where you're from.
Jim Packard from Elkridge, Utah.
Go ahead!
So my question is, these seem all like the big level, broad goals, and I feel like I'm a programmer, and so a project I'm working on has a lot of detail involved with it. I'm just wondering, what I worry about is that these goals could take over your energy that you need for the details to actually fulfill these. So like what % should be our focus on the goals and what % on the details?
So you're a left brain, aren't you? Yeah. Okay, we love the left brainers. Go ahead! And the answer is, the how does not matter. And so if I'm interpreting your question correctly, you're asking, well, how much time should we spend trying to figure out the how? Am I right? There are two things that are up to you and two things that are not. When it comes to your vision board or absolutely anything else, the two things that are up to you are the what and the why. What are they?
The what and the why.
And this is why you have your vision board and why you have your
Dream board.
There are two things that are not up to you, which are the how and the
When.
if you spend your time focusing on, oh, well, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? If it's not yet time for you to learn the how, you're going to sabotage yourself. And so the purpose of this is to get yourself in that state of Buzzing. What's the word? Buzzing. And to remove your doubt. As you remove your doubt, ideas will then come to you. Now the mistake that a lot of really left-brainers make is when an idea will come to them, they'll try to discount it. They'll try to go, well, wait a second, that doesn't seem to make sense. That doesn't line up. Those aren't the exact details that I pictured in my mind. And because they discount it, they then don't write down the inspiration, they don't go do it, and then they wonder why things have come off their vision board. Does that make sense? Now, does an accomplishment have to match the vision board image exactly? No. Can it?
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I like to tell my brain, give me this or something better. Give me this or something better. Give me
This or something better.
And so I don't allow myself to focus too much on the details. I focus on my what and my why, and I allow my brain and the universe to then figure out the details for me. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Great question. Go ahead!